Welcome back to week 3. So week 3 videos are all about lighting. So those of you who have seen my first two videos, first week was all about water and second was about food and sorry, yeah, second was about food and week 3 is about light. So when I say about light, I chose few reference or few paintings where either something is getting illuminated, either the source of the lighting or reflection. So that's how the 7 paintings turned out to be. So I started off with a neon green, I can't call it green, maybe cyan color, I guess, or teal, slight tealish color. So that's how it turned out to be, and this is how it looks. So at least at this point I realized I should not be using direct whites for the absolute highlights or the specular highlights. So I started using a brighter shade of it. And if you see, as I was saying, I do not have fine brush, or I was not using fine brush even 3 weeks into it. So I was still using the marker, fine tip marker. So that's why if you see, if I shine it in the light, you can see the glowworms shining little differently when you compare it to the other textures on the paper. That's because I use the marker, fine tip marker, to do that. So, and this is how it turned out. So, and one thing specific to light theme is there are a lot of or deeper shadows and brighter contrasty highlights. So that's a fun part to work with. Unlike smoother gradients in other paintings, when we talk about light, it's always about, like if you see in this case as well, it's about how a matchstick burns. So rest of it, everything is black except the flame that is burning and the stick that is highlighted by it. Here specifically I like the head of the matchstick that is burning. You can see it closer. So the details that came into the head, I actually loved that how it turned out, the head. And there are specific or like there are different regions even in the flame. There's a darker bluish region, then there's a pale yellow region, then there's white, then there is like again blue, then after that the outer aura kind of circle which is slightly yellow. So this is how the matchstick flame turned out to be. This was pretty neat, and this was pretty unique to when you compare it to the other paintings that I was doing earlier. So I like this one as well, specifically as I was saying, the head of the matchstick. And when we move to the painting 3, so this is where I tried something different. Instead of just lamps or fire or something like that, this was supposed to be a bioluminescent jellyfish. So one hurdle I was facing while doing light theme specifically was we need to have this haze or the blur or bokeh effect for the light to show up, but that was really tough. I can't even say I am able to do it even now. So that's one of the toughest thing, and for this specific jellyfish to glow, that was required, the diffused kind of a look. We need to use few dry brushing techniques or something, I'm not sure exactly, but I was not able to do it. That's why you can't see it glowing. It just looks colorful against some dark background or dark to light transitioning background. So that's how it turned out, but yeah, it's fine. Then comes one more kind of bioluminescence. At least here I was a kind of able to get the hazy glow or the foggy diffused kind of glow. So these are bioluminescent mushrooms. Earlier it was bioluminescent jellyfish, that kind of flopped, but this time I was able to at least come closer, I guess. So bioluminescent mushrooms. So the underside of the mushrooms are glowing. There's a different color mushroom. I think I simply added this here because it was too dark here. So something I want to create in the foreground, and I want to replicate similar thing here, but I messed this region up. So, and also there is something that you can see far off in the woods, maybe a sunset, the glow of orange hues of the sunset. So various aspects of the light can be seen here. The bioluminescent mushrooms definitely look good, might be dangerous if you want to consume it, but yeah. Moving on to the next painting. I think it's the fifth one, right? First one was the lantern, then the matchstick, then the jellyfish, then mushrooms. Now comes the fifth. This is one of the most horrible paintings I can say. So among all my 90 paintings, there are few, maybe a handful of them that stand out to be the. I'm feeling bad to call them worst, but they are kind of. So maybe if you look it from a kilometer away, you might find what this is exactly. So this is supposed to be a evening cityscape. This is supposed to be a car. These are two headlights. Then these are city lights. These are lights from the building, signboards. So all this is out of focus image, and when you take images or lights out of focus, there's a bokeh that forms. So that's what I tried to replicate, and I guess I failed at it very badly. But anyways, all part of the journey. Yeah. So these are like reflections of the light. This is evening time, like post rain cityscape kind of a scenario. So moving ahead. Oh yeah, this one was nice. So I'll tell you one thing I actually learned about acrylic in this specific painting. So even though in when we talk about watercolors versus acrylics, in watercolors you can't put a lighter shade, like a lighter color like green, blue, pink kind of colors on a darker shade like browns, blacks, or deep navy blues. But you can do it in acrylics, kind of, or maybe in the premium quality acrylics. But in the acrylics I was using, I was not able to do so. So in the previous painting when I tried, since I was saying in light theme, most of the background or the most of the area is darker, and if I fill everything with black, then putting on a lighter color might look like you can see the shade, like let's say you're putting yellow, you can see the shade of yellow, but it might not look so bright. So we need to actually leave out those spaces for later, painting them later. So that's what I did today. Sorry, did in this. And if you see specifically, there's a spot over here. So this was a mistake. So what happens is, since I was using watercolors earlier, so out of habit I started using more and more water just to keep the acrylics moist and prevent them from drying up. So when you start using water, what happens is the paint doesn't actually stick to the page. So let's say you coated this already with acrylic, so that's basically plastic on the paper. So and if you're using more and more water to paint a second coat, like these shades if you're painting later on, but there is more water, what happens is it slips off. You can't literally paint over the plastic, it slips off from the layer that is beneath it. So that's what kept happening. I literally put 20 to 30 layers, but every time I try to make a brush stroke, that comes off. That's why you can see the darker shade peeking from below. So somehow I managed to kind of make it look okay, but that is one learning I can take from this, that don't use too much water. Maybe you can use maybe a little, but too much water is never good with acrylics. You can use them as it is out of the tubes or bottles. So yeah, these are sky lanterns. They are beautiful in paintings, outside in the world. They're just beautiful creations. So this was nice. This was amazing. Then this is one more. This is the night sky where you can see the northern lights or Aurora Borealis. So this is kind of in my bucket list to at least watch these northern lights once in my life. So, and what better example than northern lights to have a spectacular light show? And since the theme is light, these should be included. So that's why I ended up doing this. So I thought of making highlights, then the floor is also shimmering, then few stars that can be peeking through, but maybe I would rate it 6.5 out of 10. It was okay. So there were few techniques I was seeing in the YouTube shorts, where you have to dab a layer of painting and use a dry brush to make streaks. So I tried multiple times, but it was not looking homogeneous. I tried with multiple shades. If you can see the lavender shade, the teal green, all these shades I was trying, but it was not looking so homogeneous like in the demo videos I was seeing. So I started doing it manually, and at the end I was able to get what you're looking at. So I think that was it. That was the finale. I wanted this to be the top, but I think the best of this week is definitely the sky lanterns. So let's see. Yeah, yeah. The first one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that was nice. And next weeks are going to be superhero, I guess. Yeah, the few superheroes. So that is one fun thing. And after that, I guess it's pop art faces. So there are few more beautiful pieces that are coming up. So stay tuned for the upcoming weeks of videos. We are in week 3 right now. There are 10 more weeks to go. 90 days painting challenge.